Hi, my name is Bianca Noir, and because it's Pride, I wanted, and you know what? I had forgotten that it was Pride, and now I'm seeing Pride stuff, and I'm really excited about Pride. And I was going to do my podcast, and then I thought, no, I'm going to do this as a separate thing because I had talked about some of this in my podcast, but then I also have the my sex life series in my YouTube. So I want to talk a little bit about my sex life, but something just came up that had to do with my podcast. So I didn't really know what direction this is going. And I would typically wear less clothing right now for this. Because it is pretty hot outside, but for the life of me, I cannot figure out how to keep a good temperature in this apartment right now. Between having to adjust the temperature from morning to night, with it being like 70 degrees outside right now, something is definitely wrong with my thermostat, and the apartment isn't sealed properly. And they will say I'm a liar. They will say I don't know what I'm talking about, that I'm not a contractor, that I don't know anything about building, that I don't know. I get buckets and buckets of water from my dehumidifier here. And I mean, I can prove that. And you shouldn't need a dehumidifier in your apartment. Okay, moving on. So that being said, which has nothing to do with my sex life, but it kind of does because this is the kind of lifestyle I have. Well, it's Pride, and people are starting to celebrate Pride. Celebrate. They're about to celebrate Pride. Okay, so I love Pride, and I will do things for Pride, but something has kind of come up over and over again, and I wanted to talk about it on Dimly Lit, because what it is I can't find a way to actually have a relationship publicly where people see exactly how what I expect in a relationship. Okay, so what it is that in previous relationships, I lived in the shadow of my exes because they've been very violent towards me. So I was silenced. So people thought that I was okay with it, which I wasn't. And so people hear and believe a lot of lies about me. They believe that things go over my head and I don't see what's happening. And what's weird is that the word doesn't get around that I, am not the way that people think. So was a person recently that I was interested in potentially dating. Okay. And it's almost exactly like the last time I was interested in potentially dating somebody. Okay. So it was happening all on site where I was going to for, like, in these relationships. It's every single time. This is a pattern. It's supposed to happen on site, in public, not in the privacy of my own space, not in a comfortable space for me, not in the privacy of my own home. Maybe at their apartment we go, but not to mine. And only sometimes, like, on the job. The relationship exists only on the job, not we go out for coffee, which would be totally appropriate for a date. It's not that. So it's not going and having a cup of coffee and like getting to know me. It's only something happening on the job. So I catch some feelings because we're working closely together. Or sometimes it might be a choreographer. This has happened before with other, with choreographers or dance teachers or, friends or whatever. If I've been street performing before, they will happen on the site where I street perform. So that person always comes around and they bother me where I'm trying to make money. So, I say I have a job. I could get concerned about this because I haven't started working as a dancer, but I get concerned about this because it happens when I am training. So it'll happen in an environment where I'm training. It might happen in a classroom. So I've been sexually harassed in classroom before, and I actually don't do what people think, which is that I am exchanging sex work for grades. I actually get the good grades without doing any sex work. And if they get something from looking at me or engaging with me and communicating with me, that's really not something that I am intending to do. So what ends up happening is I'm getting engaged in an environment where I have to be. And then there's no real way out of it. I have to engage with this person. And then I do catch real feelings for them, but they actually might not be a good person. Like I've been trafficked before by them, or they've been sexually coercive. They've raped me before. I mean, this same situation gets set up where I feel like I'm having a relationship with somebody. And this is probably how other people feel. It's sort of parasocial. So when you have online relationships, or you see somebody online, an influencer, a celebrity or something like that, say it's a rapper or something like that, and you get those star fucker fantasies in your head, and you like want to, engage them in a naughty way, or you have a big crush on a pop star or something like this. That's why we have these parasocial relationships in some ways too, because we've had relationships that are very similar to this, where you think you're in a relationship with somebody, you think that there is something going on between you, you're engaging socially with them, you're getting closer, and sometimes you are having a sexual relationship, it turns into that, and then bam, you find out it's not actually a relationship, and then it was just wham, bam, thank you, ma'am or sir, and it's over. And so I think this is how a lot of girls get trafficked too. Now, I just want to put it out there that I recently had a situation that's a repeat scenario of this, and I'm not going to name any names, but I was interested in somebody, and they have like females coming around, and typically I would be really nice and introduce myself, but it seems like something secretive is going on, and they're having like a more like sensual or seductive or sexual relationship with this person than they even are with me, who I think I'm having a relationship with them. So the thing is, though, they're not introducing me to this person, and I'm polyamorous. So if they're engaging with somebody else, that's fine. I'm not actually into monogamy anymore, because I actually don't believe in monogamy. I believe it's not natural. So, but what they're doing though is engaging someone else in a way, and they're not actually being totally honest with me, because we're not actually having a relationship outside the site. So if it's on the job, if it's in a class, if it's in some sort of art environment, we're in a collective together, whatever it is, well, I feel like it's not my business, because I'm not being invited in, and I'm also not being introduced to the person. Secondly, then they make me that third wheel, and then they're having me sit there almost and watch them engage this other person. Okay, without inviting me really in. It's almost like they're like, no, don't leave, stay, but watch me fooling around with this other person right in front of me. And I'm like, well, I expect them to be honest, and I want to be like, if you're having a relationship, and this is where I never get to that point of communicating with people I'm in a relationship with, so the word can get around, because this is what really upsets me, is where they are having like a private personal relationship with someone else, and they want me there, but they don't introduce me to them. They aren't actually engaging me anymore. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, well, can I leave? I feel like this is between you and them, and it doesn't involve me. And if you're in a relationship with them too, that's fine with me. If you're sleeping together, that's great. I'm glad for you, but you're not being honest with me. And that's what I want to bring to the table right now, especially in Pride, to all the queer people, because I've started noticing that I'm having these interactions with queer people. They presented as male, and I'm not quite sure of their binary status. I'm not quite sure of their gender status. I don't know. And actually, I don't care at first, but we're not actually having personal relationship outside of the environment. So they're sort of pulling me or dragging me into drama that I don't really want to be in. We're not being straight with each other. I'm not actually sharing my feelings sometimes. And this time I didn't share my feelings directly with the person, and the same shit happened again. It doesn't matter if I share my feelings or not. They keep doing this to me. And what it is I don't want the drama. I don't want this bullshit. And I'm not going to take it, and I'm not going to have this. And the thing is it's supposed to be a very professional relationship, but what we're doing is crossing the line. And I'm also crossing the line into something that is a little bit more personal. Why? Because I want to create a network for artists. So people start coming at me, and it's like they're all up on me online. They're all up on me online. Some of the influencers, I feel like they're up on me, and they won't contact me. They won't admit it. They won't say my name, but they are all up on me. In fact, they will say things directly that I have said. They will say things directly that I have said to other people. So in Pride, queer people, I just want you to know, and that includes everybody, because I say queer because it is ambiguous. That's why I say that I am queer, because nobody actually seems to care what my sexuality is, even to ask me more about it, or what my gender identity is. I just sort of put it out there and hope everybody kind of gets it and understands. Nobody seems to really care that much to ask me more questions or hold space for me or support me. And you know what? That's okay, because I think in my situation, I'm okay with that. But it seems like people have a lot of questions about me, and they're not willing to ask. And maybe they can't. I don't know. But if it has to do with courage, that's really pathetic. Okay. And you're not giving me an opportunity to express myself, communicate, and all the other times that I have been in situations where I was too afraid. And I was too afraid because these people were violent towards me. They were very, very violent. They were abusive towards me, and they silenced me. So now, because I allowed them to silence me, now there are rumors that I am weak and submissive. There are rumors that I liked the sex, which I didn't when I was being raped. There's rumors that I like drugs. That's the kind of life that people think that I want to live. And it's so pathetic, because I just want to say this. Let me outline what I want in a relationship, because I was trying to build up to that. Okay. Since it's Pride, and maybe there's other people who feel empowered by this. Okay. Because I'm speaking my truth. All right. The kind of relationship that I'm into right now in my era. This is my era right now for this type of relationship. Now, you may be in a different place in your life and look at me and be attracted to me, but we're in different time zones. We're in different worlds as far as what we want in a relationship. Somebody might look at me and they like what they see, or they're into it, but they don't give me a chance to communicate what I'm into. And so what it is that what I'm into, it could be, I can sum it up real quick for them, but they don't outreach, and they don't meet up with me, and they don't even have that cup of coffee. They try to make this linger on and on and on. And it's such an embarrassment to me. It's really, really a slap in the face. So here's what it is. And you know what? Me just speaking out about it, I can tell people are just going to think whatever they want anyway. But I really want to make it clear that the kind of relationship that I want is a queer relationship with another queer person. And that can be a lot of different types of things, but basically the person has to be queer. They can't be identifying as straight. And I'm going to make that very, very clear. Anyone who identifies with being straight, I'm not going to be able to have a relationship with them, because I'm not straight. I am queer. And it doesn't matter if they think that I'm straight or look straight or I'm female enough for them. I am not interested in that relationship. And henceforth, one of the reasons why I look to be lonely or alone, because I actually am very independent and like to live alone for the most part. So secondly, I'm not going to move in with anyone willingly, for the most part. I like to live alone and then have a relationship where we live in two separate spaces, or if we really get serious, maybe after a couple of years, we invest in a property together. And so that's one of the reasons why I try to hold down my own fort and try to hold down my own apartment. I have no intentions of living with somebody, especially in a one-bedroom apartment.